All right, for the entirety of the no, as an overall purpose for the Ideological War series, it's more a matter of the war of ideas that I've seen going on over the years, and any of the special characteristics that I've seen that I think can be pointed as like when people are fighting over ideas, they tend to do it this way. Like they tend to see their opponents as wholly evil or themselves as wholly good. They tend to deal in absolutes with ideas, where it's better for there to be shades of gray when it comes to somebody's personal association with an idea, as compared to something that's more binary, something that's more about physics. So outside of that, specifically this episode recording, I wanted to talk about why, when this gets into politics, when you have a strict binary about politics, when it can be good and when it can be bad. When it can be good is when you have a ideal that people are trying to work towards. Like in the United States, the idea of governance is that it should be of, by, and for the people. And I do agree with that idea, and I think it's a good standard for to maintain. It's a good idea to teach to anyone who you like, who is in the United States but below the age of 18. You know, eventually they're gonna have to vote. The one idea you should make sure is in their head is that any involvement in governance is for no, of, by, and for the people. Like it, wherever they're going to participate in it, they're either going to be a citizen, where the whole of the machine is supposed to be working for their interests, or if they're going to be a part of the larger machine, that everything they do needs to be working towards that ideal that it's of, by, and for the people, them, and everybody around them, anybody that is a U.S. citizen, and that could be the same as if they were a German, a Briton, a French person, or somebody from France. I think that would be a better way to phrase it. Either or, it's like whatever region of the world that you're from, it's understandable to have a nationalistic view that everything that um, entity does on a national level, like out of national interest, should be for the interest of the citizens of that nation. So in the uh, in holding that as an ideal, when ideological pushes get involved into it, I think that it muddies the water to where it has to be an absolute good outside of that idea for working towards a greater good. Because you can have, like colonialism, you can have a plan that's going to be detrimental to the world, but it's going to be great for that nation. A nation that sets itself up as the world police is going to be great for that nation, but it might not necessarily be great for everybody else around the world. And it inherently does not need to be. I ideally you would want it to be, well, no, I don't even think ideally you want it to be. You It's understandable to have people that as like if they like are going around as a tourist. If you have an American tourist, I'm pretty sure they would want wherever they country that they go to that they have a favorable view of Americans. You wouldn't want to be the world police and then wherever you go people cower at the name of the United States. Other people probably would want that, but most people would not want their name to enlist to invoke fear. I get it, but past a certain age, and I mean this just literally, past a certain age as a human, you have to accept that your species does two things very well: fucking fight. So if you have a large concentration of people, they are going to be involved with one of those activities, and you need to account for the consequences to the environment. It's as simple as that. So, in that way, if your nation is going to be the world police, obviously I'm talking from the United States point of view, Everything they do, it should be understandable that when they throw their weight around, when I don't like using the word royal we, I find it to be deceitful, but it applies in this case. When you when we throw our weight around, it will be to our benefit. And as it should be. If any other nation was the world police, it makes sense for those group of humans to operate in a way that enriches themselves and make sure that if they go off and continue to throw their weight around, it's easier, that there's an understanding we are going to do this. But then that's not even going into the whole ideal that I was talking about before of the of buying for the people, because you can be an altruistic nation where everywhere you go, you um, not solidify, you reinforce the infrastructure that is there for growing food, producing electricity, having self governance, having self defense. You can have it where instead of being the world police, you are. Or no, you could be the world police in a separate way where you go around and you establish alliances where you were first and foremost, we will defend you if you are attacked by. See, that's where it falls apart. Like that's one of the ideals that I can understand supporting, but then it's a matter of you're saying that you, as the largest police force, are going to protect any other nation that aligns with you against a third party. It's illogical for that third party to have any actual to be any actual credible threat unless it's to a force that is also as big as the first one, the one that's being the world police. Like there has to be a third party that is some form of a threat to the world police that is advantageous to them to have those alliances where they were like, okay, we'll train you to where you can fight for yourself. But if push comes to shove and the shit really hits the fan, we'll jump in and defend you. That ideal I get, but it's not in my mind realistic towards where you have a like ideological war, a competition of ideas, where you're going to have to fall in line with the viewpoint of one of those wanting to be the world police nations, and it's going to come down to an ideological push. Like whose viewpoint of why they're doing what they're doing is better. And I guess that's my point. I feel like any either one that has a nationalistic view is the one that's being honest. Like they're doing it to enrich their nation, even if it's primarily themselves. And then there's cast off to the other people in that particular guise because it's going to be a male's orbit. So, I did want to record this as a point towards being of, by, and for the people, like as a political view within the United States, but current events as they are, that's going to be always going to have a national view because the United States, U.S. politics is the world politics. It's unavoidable. So this could be a short one, or it could be a combination. Because I don't know. Hmm. Okay. Uh, they don't directly relate to each other, but I was thinking of the idea that I can't think of a time when, like, all of politics is selling an idea to the citizens. I understand that. But I don't remember a time when the Democratic Party of the Democratic Party of politics within the United States, they weren't selling their people an idea of false hope. And I don't feel like that's being hyperbolic because I was about to explain like what I mean by false hope, but I think everybody understands what I mean. It didn't start with. Did it start with Obama? I know they. It was part of the campaign slogan, and I'm not even against campaign slogans. It's just when you did an investigation, but then as time went on, the slogans, because yeah, now you have MAGA, make America great again. So there's always been slogans. Like, but even as you go on with the Democratic ticket and you examine whether or not they're adhering to the at least the spirit of the slogans, I guess I have it's either or because it's a matter of whether or not you have personal resonance with the slogan, whether or not you continue to believe in it. And I do believe that at least you as a citizen should believe in the excellence of your nation because it's a reflection of your own potential, not necessarily that the nation itself is great, but that you can add in your efforts to make that nation great. So, uh, the idea of false hope is that if you're going to try to sell people on an idea of do these things and they will improve the machinations and the effects of the system moving as a whole, it should not ever be the case that well, your efforts are not going to add up to the end goal that was stated. Talking around in platitudes, not platitudes, loose examples, nothing specific. But I was gonna do another short one, and now I have 11 minutes. It's a bad sign that I'm just starting this thing and I'm trying to fill time. But it also might be a issue with um, setting down several ideas and then coming back to them and trying to have the same energy towards the idea at a later date that I had when I first initially came up with the idea. And also that I don't add enough bullet points for the titles. No, or bullet points for the actual description or the body of the text where I just had a title for these and I'm trying to ad lib it and come back up with details. So at least I can ramble for 12 minutes. There's a positive note there. All right, let's end it.